bridge. No other close cross that I can see.
Hey, where's County? Right there, really? I think I got one in front of me. I'm just fixing to come up to the 440.
Tip it, tip it.
Yeah, I'm on the front of the
Hey, stop it, dude! Ow, shit! Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired! I'm 10-4. Everybody! Anybody hit? Everybody good?
This incident, September 18th, really shows how quickly a situation can escalate. Dontrell Carter is to be a dangerous individual who has no regard for others. His reckless action could have resulted in serious injuries or death. And we are fortunate that no one was injured. His past history has showed an increase in level of violence demonstrated by Dontrell Carter. He has an extensive history of violent behavior. The incident that you reviewed showed that every officer, both city and county, followed proper procedures in both the chase and subsequent pursuit. You see, our most valuable resource is the public. And Mr. Carter has proven himself to be a danger and certainly a menace to society. It is important to note that the video showed that Dontrell Carter fired first at our deputies and officers from the Sumter Police Department before they returned fire. But we think that Mr. Carter eluded capture as he entered the wooded area in the rear of his vehicle. But I want to make it clear that we will use every resource that's available to us in our search for Dontrell Carter. And we will bring him to justice. The Sumter County Sheriff's Office, the Sumter Police Department, South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, and U.S. Marshals Service are working diligently to locate and apprehend Mr. Carter. And I want to warn anyone that is assisting him or has assisted him in avoiding apprehension will be prosecuted to the fullest. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. It was very important for us, although we spent an inordinate amount of time before this press conference, to allow you to hear the voice, radio side of the transmission from the victim, where this started. This was an ongoing criminal activity that lasted about an hour and 15 minutes. We started with domestic violence. Recently, a study was released by the FBI that we're now 5th in the nation for domestic violence death of a female victim to a male suspect. Last year we were number 1, now we're number 5. We're making progress, but we're not where we should be. So it's very important to understand that October is Domestic Violence Month. You have a situation that involved a domestic violence offender. That subject left one resident, drove across town to another home who was a relative to the original victim, fired shots on the home. Law enforcement attempted to stop and pursue the individual, and based on what you saw in the video, his actions and results. Now, in your press package, you will have some information concerning his previous criminal history. You'll also see from 2008 and 2013 some cases that are still pending in General Sessions Court that also resulted in firearms and violent behavior of this individual. Also in the press package, you will have a copy of the audio and a copy of the video. We felt it important to be able to show you this at the conclusion of the investigation that we're at now, whereby all the witnesses have been interviewed, and felt it was time to release the video so the public could actually see the violent tendencies of this individual. Law enforcement is not only the only victim in this case. If you go from the shooting and back it up, you have a domestic violence issue. You've got another individual who is in their home and are fired upon. And then lastly, the 3 police officers. I can say after doing this for almost 35 years that these officers conducted themselves in the most professional manner. You could hear their voice while pursuing this individual, and they remained calm. They remained calm after the deadly force encounter or attempted deadly force encounter by the individual. They did a fantastic job, followed all our policies and procedures, and protected this community. It's important to understand that there's victims and also persons at risk as long as Mr. Carter is still out in the community. The community at large is at risk. He has demonstrated not only a tendency of violent behavior towards law enforcement, but also people he has a relationship with. Also the community at large. As the sheriff alluded to, we are asking the community for help. We need help in identifying this, identifying the location of this individual. Again, in the press package, you will find some information relative to where he has friends and extended relatives outside of the South Carolina area that we're also looking at and attempting to locate. So again, we've demonstrated that we're dealing with an individual that has violent behavior, who has no issue with using firearms, not only against law enforcement, but also the public at large, and we're asking for your help. And I'll be prepared to answer any questions along with the sheriff you may have, Mr.